hello. Check, check, check. Oh. Hello, hello. Oh, we're here. Nice. Hello, folks, and welcome to another great edition of PPR Esports. I am your host, Best Teo, coming to you live solo dolo today for our first race back from the spring break. We are live from the Marina Bay Street Circuit in Singapore. I am so excited to bring you all this race. It is one of my favorites on the calendar. It is a spectacular watch, and I look forward to it often. So why don't I take you through everything now? The Marina Bay Street Circuit is in the Marina Bay district of Singapore. It's going to be 31 laps today, 23 turns, a very, very long and twisty track, 14 to the left and 9 to the right. There's going to be, I believe, 2 DRS detection zones. You're going to have one along the pit straight. You're going to have one down the bendy straight there in Sector 1. And this map might be outdated, but I do believe there is one from the hairpin of 13 down to the hard braking zone of turn 14. 5.0 kilometers long, 3.1 miles, and the lap record is held by the one and only Kevin Magnussen, a 141.9. I think he's done that 2 years in a row now, so always something to keep an eye out for. Anyway, folks, on a totally separate note, I went on the internet this week and I found this. This is, well, pretty relevant photo considering everything happening in the news. It has a young Sebastian Vettel pictured in 2002 sitting in the cockpit of a Formula One car. Little did he know his career would go on to be, up in the conversation with some of the greats like our current Lewis Hamilton, Schumacher, Hakkinen, you name it. He's kind of become one of the household names of the sport. Obviously, with the news today, it's very unfortunate he will not be with Scuderia after this year, but there's still a season, if any season, so we'll have to see just how he does. Let's take the rest of the field now, folks. Here's our first team looking at the Renault Sport Formula One team. Chandler City continues his run of podiums, and he is going to be looking to sprint to the finish, folks. It is a dead heat now from Singapore all the way to Abu Dhabi. Let's see if the Renault driver can keep it together and wrap up this championship in a few weeks' time. Nick, on the other hand, has been struggling to attend, also finish, so hopefully we can see it pick up at Portland today. Down to the second place constructor team, B-Dunk. Unfortunately, B-Dunk started the season pretty hot, but ever since around Silverstone, he's on a bit of a downward spiral as of he's going to be looking to get some points finishes done. Same thing with Double OT. As you can see, he's actually slid back into championship positions. 1 point, 1 position. He'll be looking to get back on form. But as far as trending up goes, Saxman is now closing the gap to P2 in the championship, still on his consistent run of 4s, 5s, and 6s. Brackish as well, back in the saddle, moving up to P9 in the championship after his outing at Monza. Racing points, Andre Myrie and Ed, unfortunately hitting a bit of a plateau here mid-season. Andre Myrie not scoring any points last time out, and Ed really yet to get back in shape. McLaren Renault, lost cookie too little too late is probably the way I would put it. He's tried to find some form late in the season, it hasn't really gone his way. He's dropped from P5 to P7, and his teammate Jules has not fared much better, sitting in P19 and P20. So hopefully he will bounce back soon. Alfa Romeo, Reimer has not been making it out lately, but on the other hand, his teammate Ginger Horizon, who's been a late entrant into this year's season, has now moved up to P4 in the championship and is trying to close the gap to Saxman, so keep an eye on him today to make some moves. Actually, a home race for Ginger as well, so keep an eye out for that. All on the line for him. Mercedes AMG Petronas, we got Sparky and Jay Lee. Sparky, unfortunately, last time out, did not finish. Jay Lee still very much adrift of the pace. Hopefully tonight at Singapore, they can find some speed. Red Bull Racing, Delirious will not be racing tonight. I do believe that we have a reserve filling in for him. Yes, I can see it now. Money Hustard will be starting in the Red Bull seat alongside Capita Hood, who did not make it out last time, who's sitting P10 in the championship. Let's see if he can't score some points. Hoopalicious and Alphanesis kind of being the surprise entrance of the season so far. Hoop having a very strong showing as of late. He's kind of been matching Ginger's pace, and Alphanesis hopefully going to score some points today. They say third time's a charm. Let's see if they keep the 4 up. Finally, bringing up the rear, It's the Scuderia Ferrari team. Kinkirk and Caspita, same as story as it's been all year. Ferrari woes. So hopefully they can get that turned around today. Here's your driver's table, folks. Chandler State is out in front by nearly 100 points. I don't see that many being relinquished anytime soon. But Saxman and Ginger now are starting to creep into the picture for Edom. Looking down the rest of the midfield, it's a very tight run all the way from P6 down to about P13. So keep an eye out for that today's race. Here's your reserve championship right there. Ham Newton leading with 44 points. Behind him is Loki Ramrock, Cookie Cactus. And the Constructor Championship, on the other hand, is far closer picture than you would guess. Goes to show the lack of parity at the top right now. Williams is actually still kind of in the fight there if you think about it. A double DNF for Renault would pretty much put Williams back in the driver's seat for that. On the other hand, Toro Rosso is now very much in the picture for P2. And then behind them, it's Racing Point kind of in no man's land, Alfa Romeo in no man's land. And then the Formula 1.5, as it were, is P6 to P10, kind of up for grabs. Haas, though, has jumped Ferrari now in the standings, so we will have to hope for that. And folks, there you have it. That's all the info I got for you on Marina Bay. Let's take things live to the track now for tonight's Singapore Grand Prix. All right, folks, we are now live from the pit lane here in Singapore as just a couple of cars are leaving to get on track right now. A couple already getting out there. Let's have a look at what we got today. There is Chandler Sada leaving the pits now, our championship leader in the banana boat. Out in front, though, it's Ginger Horizon doing some sighting laps on those hard compound tires, it would seem. Folks, Singapore really, the compound tire will only matter for a very short period of time here because the name of the game is fresh tires. This is a very, very safety car dependent track, being so close to the barriers and whatnot. A lot of drivers will find themselves pitting very frequently. This last year Singapore Grand Prix IRL saw, I think it was something like 2 VSCs and 2 full safety cars, just because kind of like driving in a cage feel is what it's been described as. And we will have to see what we've got in store for us on track today. You'll have to excuse me, folks. It would seem there's a glitch with my controller. I'll see if I can troubleshoot this real fast. Give me just a moment. What is going on here? 1 second, folks. Sorry about this. Just gotta make sure everything is working. There we go, folks. Simple glitch in the matrix. On board now with Ginger Horizon. Flying through the first sector. Turns 1 and 2 here, kind of a tricky prospect for many of the drivers. You want to take a lot of curb, and you saw there a lot of these drivers will be just riding over the curbs. It's kind of the way to gain time around here, which is why you'll see a lot of drivers setting times come almost 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds faster than the real-life cars can, due to the fact that these video game curbs will not actually do any damage to the cars. So you'll see right there's another instance of the drivers taking a lot of curb right here again. If that was a real Formula 1 car, it would be bouncing into the barrier right now. Into the hairpin. Tough braking zone here. You want to get that one right. If you brake too early, you'll find yourself killing all your momentum for the straight. You brake too late, you'll find yourself in the barrier. Definitely one of the toughest parts of the track. Into the right-hander here. I like the way the runoff gives you a lot of breathing room as you go on the exit into the hard right-hander. See, lots of curb there. Use the verstoppers as kind of your best friend, taking that inside curb again, flying out to the right-hand side, turning in for the left and the double righty through the tunnel. Again, using all that curb to their advantage. One more time. Bing, bang, boom. Right, left. Ride it out to the... Ooh, little tap of the wall there. You'll be seeing a lot of that today. Almost cutting the pit entry. That's your first lap of the day, folks. 137.4. 137.4. Borat Bones going 135.6. Already we're into the 135s, folks. Do expect to see a lot of drivers setting similar times today. There goes Ginger on his in lap. We got Sparky looking to get going on his flyer now. Let's go on board with the Mercedes driver through the double left-hander before the start-finish straight. Get that DRS nice and wide open, flying down to turn one. Let's see. Going all the way to the right for the entry, cutting that inside curb, flying in, taking that beautifully. Not getting too unsettled now into the right-hander coming up. Let's see. Braking just over that left-hand curb, turning in, riding all that inside curb. DRS wide open now. The isn't straight, as it were, hitting that right apex there, boom, nice and easy. You don't really have to hug the wall too closely because you have the hard braking zone coming up. Take that inside curb nicely out to the right-hand side. Left-hand entry in. Nice and easy, folks. There's your Sector 1 now into Sector 2. Here comes one of the funner parts of the track, in my opinion. Nice long straight here. Into the S's. Taking all that curb. Same thing. The right-hand side, easy peasy. Now here's tough traction zone right there into the hairpin, braking well right where he needed to do it. Perfect. That Mercedes is looking planted, folks. Let's see now. Down, braking about the 50 board, turning in, taking all that inside curb, riding it shallow of the outside, it would seem, kind of cutting himself on the exit there. Getting a bit of a slower run, getting that inside curb there, good. Left-hand curb, good. Out to the right-hand side of those red-white curbs, nice. Turning in for the left-hander. Don't take any curb there, really. Take it all on the exit. There you go. Now here's the next right-hander. There you go, right-hand curb, left-hand curb, just a kiss up to the barrier, on the power, double left-hander. Bit of a lift there, let the car settle down, get that downforce going again. BRL Sparky's going to go 136.2, 136.2. A very, very quick lap from the Mercedes driver there. Couple cars into the pits. We got Chandler Status setting a 136 flat. We got Borat Bones 135.6. Boss Cookie, though, looks like he's found his pace again, folks. That's a 135.2. There you go. Couple drivers have yet to get around here. Let's see, Nick's getting ready to start his flying lap. Alfa Nice is getting ready to start his flying lap right now. Or on their flyers, perhaps. Let's have a look here. Looks like Nick's getting ready to start his. It's an invalidated lap. There you have it. Saxman crossed the line. P9, 137.2. As you can see, there's a very interesting mix of tire strategies here. Softs, mediums, some hards. It's really dependent on the safety car, folks. It's not really like there's a right or wrong way to go about this, which makes it a very, very fascinating race. For those of you who just came over from the D2 stream, you would have probably seen quite a lot of people pitting very frequently. This really is one of those tracks where you always want to be on fresh rubber. There really is no overcut here. You will get swallowed whole, especially because there are so many of these medium to hard braking zones. You want to have all that fresh rubber underneath you because you will, even with track position, end up scrubbing a lot of time off your laps and find yourself kind of being pushed back into the clutches of your fellow competitors. And it's not any way to run a race, folks, let me tell you. It's not fun getting swallowed whole by the pack. It's like Saxman's backed off here. Velo into the pits. Got Money Hustard on his outlap now in that Honda-powered Red Bull. Of course, folks, these cars are all spec'd because this is a multiplayer lobby. No one has any performance advantages, so don't feel like the Red Bull chassis and aero will give them any advantage. Let's see, we got Mercedes heading into the pit. Let's ride on board with Money Hustard as he heads through. Oh, he's still in Sector 2. Let's see who else is on an outlap. We got Chandler Seda on an outlap here. We got Borat Bones on an outlap here. Oh, folks, you'll have to forgive me. There's a bit of a glitch with my controller. Most interesting. Interesting. There's a glitch where once I get to Cap's name, I can't get past him. That is fascinating. We'll have to do it this way then. There we go. Easy peasy. Chandler now beginning his flyer in the Renault. Power down. Bit of a lockup there. Through Sector 1 now, getting that DRS nice and open. Time to beat is going to be a 1:35.2. He's currently sitting at 1:36 flat, so he will need to find 8/10 this lap, taking a nice right-hand entry there, riding over that exit curb. Well done, carrying a lot of speed through there now. Into Sector 2. Let's see, folks. A little bit of traffic ahead. Let's hope it's not too much trouble. I do believe that is the McLaren of Run the Jewels. Sorry, that's Andre Myrie in the Racing Point now. Into the hard braking zone, braking very late, carrying lots of speed through there, over the right-hand curb. Beautiful. Nice wide exit, getting that left-hand curb through the bridge, into the hairpin. Let's see, folks, has he taken it well? Yes, he's found his braking points perfectly. Now down the back straight, as it were. Into the hard braking zone. That's a purple Sector 2, but it looks like he just got it pipped from somebody. Ooh, that's a Ferrari going slow in Sector 2. Wonder who that might be. Into the bridge, through the bridge, now into the tunnel to grandmother's house we go. Keeping that in third, a little short shift there, get the power down up to fourth, keeping it back down to third, riding all that curb. Ooh, folks, there you have it. Oh, and that's a spin. Ooh, 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 ooh. And that's, you may just have overcooked that one, folks. There you have it. Singapore's tenacity on full display. Even a driver as talented as Chandler will struggle at a track like this one. So, really is anyone's game today. Ham Newton now in that Ferrari. Let's have a look at him. Get ready for his flying lap here. Flying down to turn 1 in that number 13 Ferrari car, turning in nicely, using all that curb to his advantage. Nice and easy through the left-hander. Let's see, folks, into Sector 1. Time to beat, still a 1:35.2. Ham Newton, though, is throwing down the challenge. Through Sector 1, a couple yellow flags ahead. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. DRS wide open. Let's see if he hits that right apex nicely. Easy peasy. Just graze the wall. Give it a nice little love tap there. Boom. Over the left-hand curb. Ride that exit curb nicely, keeping two wheels on the track. Left-hand entry into the right-hander. Beautiful. You just kind of got to treat this like you're driving in your grocery store parking lot. That's the best way I could describe this track to someone. A lot of 90-degree turns that you've got to take a very wide entry into if you want to carry a lot of speed and have a good entry for the next corner. A lot of setups through these various complexes. Into the hairpin, taking a wider entry through there, looking to maybe get on the power just a touch sooner. Well done. Let's see if he crosses the timing line. How will he do? Not a purple Sector 2. Is this still his outlap? You got to be kidding me. Folks, I am sorry. And the Codemasters glitches continue today. Look at that. Look at that. That is fun stuff. We'll have to just do it like this. Yep. Sorry, folks. I was narrating a outlap, which I definitely thought was his flyer, so guess the joke's on me. Oh, well, there you have it. Pole position. Thanks, Codemasters. 134.7. 134.7 is the time to beat, folks. That's a Ferrari on pole position. Ham Newton showing out for our boy Sebastian Vettel today. Very well done. We got Cookie on his outlap now. Maybe that'll fix our problems. Yep. Just got to keep hitting the pause button, it would seem. Sparky going 135.1. 135.1. Getting Cookie by about a tenth. I wonder if the McLaren driver is going to have some pushback in him. Let's see Ginger now on his outlap. We've got Andre Myrie. He looks like he's not on a push lap at the moment. Chandler Seda in the pits, getting that front wing of his fixed after a little excursion with the barrier through Sector 3. We got Ginger and Sparky now into a bit of a qualifying tussle. But all eyes are going to be on Cookie now. We want to see if he's got some kind of answer for these other top two teams. That is the Ferrari and a Mercedes P1 and 2. I wonder if we'll get a McLaren or maybe the Red Bull of Capita Hood. P3, Capita Hood going 135.3. He's just a 10th shy there of Boss Cookie, so keep an eye on him to maybe get in the mix today. Hoopalicious as well, and Ginger Horizon as well. Keep an eye out for Ginger. It is, after all, his home race. A very big shout out to him. Let's hope he has a good one tonight. Boss Cookie trying to set this one up well, trying to get those tires nice and warm, give himself a little breathing room. Just one Ferrari ahead. Shouldn't be too much of a hustle on the power now, I think, folks. A nice good run up to the double left-hander. There we have it, folks. Taking all that left-hand curb out to the right. Beautifully done. DRS wide open into turn one. Let's see. 150, 100. Right at the 50 board turn again, using all that left-hand curb out to the right-hand curb. Beautiful. Taking it nice and easy over that left-hand curb on the exit. Take kind of an awkward apex here for the right-hander. Boom. Well done. Here's the entry for the DRS. Get that open. Now it's the long run down to the zigzag, I like to call it. It's a bit of a left-right. Riding all that exit curb beautifully now into the right-hander. Taking a bit of a shallow entry, running wide on the exit, though, to make up for it. Into the left-hander. Same thing as before. Boom. Nice. Now get on the power. It's crucial. You want to use all this. This sets up your momentum through the S's. Left-hand curb beautifully. Right-hand curb. Ooh, a little late on that one. He's not going to quite get the run he wanted, but he'll try to make it up there on the left-hander. Into the hairpin. Braking down to first gear. Well done by Boss Cookie. That's looking snazzy by the McLaren driver. Let's see, folks. No purple sector 2. We'll have to stay tuned. Using all the exit curb to his advantage now into the hard braking zone. Using all that right-hand curb. Careful not to take four wheels off the track. And again, he's kept just enough off, but he's backed off. Perhaps we aren't able to see that that was invalidated. There are some issues with the game today. Let's all keep our fingers crossed that Codemasters will put out a less buggy game in a few months' time, which I'm sure a lot of you are very excited about. They've recently dropped their trailer today, as a matter of fact. They've tried to premiere some new modes. I think they're talking about a team manager mode that will be premiering in this adventure of the game, this edition of the game, rather. We'll be getting Zandvoort. We'll also be getting Vietnam, which is great because those are two tracks that nobody really knows that well and present a lot of interesting and new challenges for F1 2019 players. Zandvoort with its long banked turn, very reminiscent of a certain 2005 United States Grand Prix, so Pirelli claims they've got it figured out, but we'll have to wait and see. And Vietnam as well. Vietnam is a cool track. I myself am part Vietnamese, so I was very much looking forward to that race. Such a shame we'll have to wait just a touch longer before we can make it out to the Hanoi Street Circuit. But now with Borat Bones, let's see, folks, in that Williams getting the power down. Borat Bones filling in for B-Dunk today. Ooh, Andre Mayri is retiring in the pits. That will do it for him. Funky Cactus also retiring in the pits. They seem to be pretty satisfied with their laps, not looking to get too out of shape. But there you have it, folks. Everyone on the soft compound of tire. No one's going to opt for an overcut. It would seem everyone wants that grip, and they're going to be hoping for that early safety car. Ooh, looks like Jules may have missed his braking point there. We're looking at a different car then, maybe. Ooh, big lockup going into the hairpin. That will cost Borat a lot. Maybe that was Boss Cookie who ended up in the barrier there. Very unfortunate. Turning in. Another big lockup. It would seem Borat going real heavy on the brake pedal today, or maybe his brake pressure is just a touch high. Same thing. Big lockup on the right-hand side, and that's kind of scrubbed all of his momentum. Time to beat still 1:34.7, folks. Let's see. Has he got it in him? 1:23 is the time. 1:24, 25, 26. It's going to be a close one, folks. Now here's a long run down to the line. Here's a double left-hander taking all that inside curve beautifully, not invalidating. Oh, just keeping it in one piece through the exit. That's a 1:35.6. 1:35.6. I'll put him P5. Folks, your starting order right now as it stands. Ham Newton, in P1, Sparky P2, Boss Cookie P3, Capita Hood P4. Those are your front 2 rows. Behind them are Ed, Borat, Alpha Nieces, Ginger, Funky Cactus, and Andre Myrie. Your non-points paying positions so far. Oh, well, there you have it. Chandler Seda finding that pole time at the last minute, 134 point. I believe that's a 7. Yes, it is a 7, folks. Well done to the Renault driver. Pull out that 900ths of a second to Pip Newton right at the finish. Though I do see Newton is on a flyer right now. I wonder, with Brackish in front, has that had any effect on his lap? Into the final complex of turns here, not much to really speak of. Can he get a tow from the car ahead? Perhaps, taking all that inside curve again. Power down, let's see, through the line. Ooh, it's not going to be enough, and Hoopalicious is going to come through there with a 134.7. So it looks like all the pace was to be had at the end of the session, folks. We'll run you through the starting order one more time as we head into the race. One more time, folks. Your pole sitter is Chandler Seda with a 134.7. Behind him, Hoop, Ham Newton, Sparky, Capita Hood, Ginger, Boss Cookie, Double OT, Ed, and I've been cut off. Thank you all for joining us, folks. If you're just arriving, this is Xbox Division 1 Pole Position Racing Esports Division 1, featuring your host, Best Teon. Oh, we got some rain, folks. 2017, ring a bell? Ooh, we'll have to see. Could be in for a dicey start. Be a real shame if something happened. Be a real shame. But we'll have to keep an eye out. I don't want to tempt fate. I expect for it to be a very exciting race since we've got ourselves some damper conditions here. Well, didn't even know the weather was going to be wet. That's always a nice, tasty surprise. Singapore, of course, being very close to the equator, gets very crazy weather. I've had the opportunity to be down there, not for the Grand Prix, but just on holiday with the family, and we had some incredible weather in both extremes. There were days where it was in the mid 80s with like 99% humidity, and then it would snap at around like 2 in the afternoon, and we would get a torrential downpour with lightning storms. Singapore is a fascinating city. It's a city-state, if you want to call it that. It's not much bigger than the size of San Diego, in fact. Beautiful town, lots of wonderful architecture, and a very interesting crossroads of cultures. They've got Little India, they've got a Chinatown, a lot of influence being there in the eastern part of the world from many Asian countries, as well as many, countries that lean maybe some other ways. They're very close to Malaysia. They're very close to the Strait of Malacca, so you'll see a lot of Indonesian influence there as well. But definitely one of the cooler places I have been in my life, and I'll be honest, it's a place I want to go see a Grand Prix at one day. Maybe next year, once this coronavirus business is finally behind us. Formation lap here, folks. Looks like drivers are running that wet tire. Don't expect to see interiors quite yet. I wonder if we'll see some change in conditions. Unfortunately, up here in the booth, I am not privy to talk to Jeff like our drivers are. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Your starting order one more time. It's Chandler, leading Hoop, leading Ham Newton, leading Sparky, leading Capita Hood. Behind them, Ginger Horizon, Boss Cookie, Double OT, Ed, and Borat. In your non-points paying positions, it is Alpha Nieces, Funky Cactus, Andre Myrie, Saxman, Jay Lee, ARL, PPR, Nick, Velo 8806, Money Hustard, and bringing up the rear, it's Run the Jewels in the McLaren. I won't bother setting up a tire compound thing here, folks, and I will actually go ahead and turn off the track map since this is a bit of a wet race in tight conditions. I want us all to see the full spectacle, as it were, as this is Singapore. That is a part of the experience here, much like it is at Monaco, much like it is at any night race, even Bahrain, Abu Dhabi being a dusk race. The looks and the aesthetic are a part of the experience, and I love that. I love that Formula One gets to do that. It's a unique sport in that sense. Many other sports, a field is a field, a basketball court or a football field is kind of all the same, but F1 is great because you get these grand venues with loads of production value, and well, personally, I love it, and I am very, very privileged to be here today to bring you all of this, and I'm very privileged to be able to have this as a part of my own work life. So here we go, folks. Lining up on the grid now for the Singapore Grand Prix. It's Xbox Division 1 PPR Esports. I'm your host, Bez Teon. As the last car is approaching the grid right now, we're going to just be sitting here very patiently for lights out. And it's lights out, and we're underway here in Singapore, folks. All the drivers struggling for traction. Let's see, each other's gotten a good getaway. Looks like the Haas cars made some progress on the Ferrari into turn one. Let's see, how's everyone to keep it clean? No contact as of yet. No one spinning into turn two. Ooh, we got a Ferrari getting all out of shape at the back. That's Velo getting all out of shape. No one getting pushed into the barrier quite yet. That's a Toro Rosso, it would seem, of Brackish going very slowly. Ginger is going to get past Hoopalicious there. Into the first isn't straight. Everyone fighting, jockeying for position in these changeable conditions. Remember, folks, they will have to brake later. Capita Hood now up into P3. Let's see Ham Newton hot on the tail of that Renault. Everyone's going to have to remember to brake about 20 meters ahead of where they normally would. Ooh, that's the McLaren, a Boss Cookie running very wide through there. Let's see, folks, not any wing damage that I can see visually at the moment. Perhaps there's something at the back of the field I might not be able to see. Boss Cookie getting the move done there on... Hoop getting the move done on Boss Cookie now into Sector 2. Looks like Ginger Horizon's going wheel to wheel now with Capita Hood into the hard braking zone. Let's see. He's just got the move done. Yes, that's the Alfa Romeo getting back in front of the Red Bull. Cap will have to think about coming back at him now down this back straight. Chandler still leading us about 5/10 in front of Ham Newton. Ham Newton will be defending the honor of Sebastian Vettel today. So let's hope to see some daring moves from the Ferrari driver. Capita Hood in that slipstream, that very, very wet slipstream now down the back straight. Looking to gain some time, but Sparky now lurking in the rearview mirror. Behind him, it's Hoopalicious, and that's Boss Cookie up the inside of the Haas driver. Going for a move there, but I don't think he's got the power down quite where he needed it in these wet conditions into the right-hander. Everyone braking nice and easy, looking for the traction. Hoop's going to run just a touch wide on the exit there. Let's see now. Ooh, McLaren really struggling in these wet conditions. I wonder if Cookie will find some traction as the day goes on. Folks, as you know, in a wet race, the racing line will start to kind of get rubbered in as it goes on, and if you go off that line, you will find yourself doing the ice capades. One lap down, Chandler still leading Ham, leading Ginger, leading Capita Hood, leading Sparky behind them, Hoopalicious, Boss Cookie, Ed, Borat, and Alphanesis. Closest battles on track, looks like Ed and Borat about to go out of here. On board now, ooh, but looks like Boss Cookie and Hoop going back at it now into turn 3. Let's see. Cookie's got the inside line. He's going to have the outside line now going down to the street. He's going to defend that. He's going to move back to the racing line, try to cover off the Haas, and the Haas will not be able to defend at all. Ooh, and he's pulled off the circuit. Hoop is off the circuit completely. Don't know if he's lost power, if there's an issue with his wheel perhaps, but he is falling down the order at the moment. Very unfortunate for him. Jay Lee getting past Hoopalicious there. Sparky hot on the tail of Capita Hood. ERS Ham Newton still tucked in behind the Renault of Chandler Seda. Expect to see lots of short shifting in lower gears today, folks. These guys will be struggling for the traction. Cap looking very slow through there. He's backing up that Mercedes into the field. On the brakes now, into the hairpin. Cap's going to take a wider line through there. Sparky's going to have a shallower line, but the Red Bull in the way, he's not able to get the power down. Cap's going to pull out just a touch of a gap now. Let's see, folks. On the rest of the field, PPR Nick now leading up, bringing up the rear. He may have suffered some damage on lap 1. Hoopalicious continues his fall down the order, down to P12 now, completely out of shape. Not sure what's happening there, folks. I don't see any damage on his car to speak of, nor has he disconnected, so very, very interesting. Perhaps his setup is wrong? We'll have to wait and see after the race. Ed trying to find the power here. Ooh, careful not to take too much curb. Time penalties played a huge factor in the last race's finishing order, so it will behoove you to keep yourself out of corner cutting issues. It looks like Sparky now trying to catch up, or was that Jay Lee hot on the tail? Yes, that is Jay Lee trying to go up the inside of Double OT, kind of pushing Double OT onto that inside curb. OT almost cutting it. Jay Lee giving him a love tap on the exit. He will go ahead and push himself through into the points for the Mercedes driver. Hoopalicious still drastically struggling now with Double OT about to swallow him whole. You can hear those engines fighting to get the power down as these wheels are spinning madly. Ooh, wheel to wheel now. Double OT and Saxman. Saxman's going to go up the inside. I hope he hasn't run wide. No, he's not. He's got that move done. Well done to the Toro Rosso driver now, who's going to try to catch the Haas of Hoopalicious. Ham Newton still 3/10 back on our race leader. Chandler Seda, Capita Hood, though, 3 seconds back from Ginger Horizon. So our podium runners are kind of scampering off into the distance here down the Raffles Boulevard. Very unfortunate if you were hoping for maybe a surprise podium, but Ham Newton is quick as heck. So is Chandler, and Ginger is fighting for his home soil. I do not expect to see him give any quarter as the day goes on. 3 laps in to go, folks. It's a Singapore Grand Prix wet race. Very good as of yet. No safety cars. Everyone's kept it pretty clean, but it does seem to the naked eye as though these conditions maybe are lightening up. Is that my imagination? I can't really tell. I don't have the ability to talk to the engineer. Oh, Velo has disconnected from the session. Very unfortunate for him. Capita Hood just trying to stay in front of Sparky here. Gap's now 4 seconds to the podium positions. Ooh, Ginger in that slipstream of Ham Newton. He's going to pull to the left. Have a look here. Nothing really going early on the brakes, of course. Ham Newton going to run just a touch skittish through there. Oh, and he's left the door open. And Ginger's through to P2. Look at that, folks. Ham Newton's going to try to come back at him here. Nothing for him really going. Ginger, though, is going to try to close the gap to Chandler Seda, who's about 1 second ahead. No DRS as it is a wet race. Cap still fighting away with the Mercedes, though. Borat, on the other hand, in a dogfight now with the McLaren. The 2 British constructors here going at it. Into the right-hander. Big lockup for Borat there. Trying to stay on the power well. In that slipstream, turning in, nicing all that inside curb. Ooh, Cookie's going to have a bit of a tough run through there. These wet weather Pirellis have been a sticking point for many of the drivers in the real-world field. Oh, and Boss has got it all wrong. He's got the entry all wrong. Big lockup, lost all his momentum. He's sliding around the track, and the Williams is going to have a way better run now into the next hard braking zone. I think that should be move done here. Unless Cookie's going to... Oh, he's going to turn in on him. He's not going to let him go through there. And they are rubbing wheels now, folks, into the right-hander. Cookie's going to have the outside line for the first turn, really dogging it. Wow, Borat pushing him to the inside, though. Very, very hard racing here from our Division 1 drivers. Ooh, Borat coming right across him. No love lost between these two. I don't expect to see Boss Cookie concede quite yet. Let's see if he can come back at him here now. Still looking for the traction in the wet. And unfortunately, looks like Borat's going to scamper away. And Boss has just lost all of his pace trying to get the pit entry done there. Wonder if he is opting to go onto the intermediate tires, folks. This could be the first gamble of the day. Let's just see. Yes, it is, folks. Those are intermediate tires going on for the McLaren driver. It looks like he's going to try to go for it here. And he's got a fresh front wing, perhaps with some more front downforce. He's going to serve his penalty there, and away he goes. Boss Cookie's going to come out in P15. Brackish here on the back of Funky Cactus. Toro Rosso team got to be thinking to themselves how vital it is they get back in the points. They are very much in it to win it this season. Would hate to see them fall out of championship contention. Big lockup there. Cactus going to run wide. The Toro Rosso is going to have a much better run through there. Ginger very close now to Chandler. I think we might go check in on that one. Money Hustard into the pits. Velo into the pits. He was on those intermediate tires. He might be... Oh, he just came out on them. Pardon me, folks. So Ginger's still tucked in right behind. I wonder if either of these gentlemen will blink first for that early pit stop to go on to inters. Safety car, folks. Money Hustard out of this race. Let's have a look at that. It's like Money Hustard's lost it in Sector 1, folks. Full course safety. I would be shocked if everyone didn't dive into the pits here for the inters. It does look like the rain has lightened up. Inters, of course, being loads faster around the track in these changeable conditions. Let's see, folks. Down the pit entry. Is Chandler going to dive in? Yep. Chandler and Ginger will go in here. ERS Ham Newton right behind them. Let's see whose picker can get him out first. Oh, they weren't ready. They didn't have the tires ready. Oh, they did. I'm sorry, folks. That would have been funny, though, if the game really did screw him like that. But looks like Chandler will just stay out in front by just a smidgen. Of course, folks, there is a safety car restart coming, so it will depend who's going to keep the warmer tires. Look at that. The entire field from P1 down to 14 into the pits. Cookie already getting his stop done one earlier. He's got to be grinning to himself about the possibility of getting back in the fight here. They will have to queue up behind the safety car, folks. If you're just joining us, this is Division 1 PPR Esports. I want to give a quick shout-out to everyone who is watching. Thank you for joining us after the week-long break. This week, it is Singapore week. We've got racing today. We had racing yesterday for our PC Division 1. Tomorrow night, we'll have our PC Division 2. And then Friday night, we will be having our Xbox Division 4, where you can catch myself in the Silver Arrow racing, fighting it out, hopefully, to move up the championship order. I'm in a very different league than these fellows. I'm what you consider a filthy casual, and these guys are basically borderline consummate professionals, pretty much from top to bottom. Talk about hours spent on the game, honing their craft, working on setups, devising strategies. Unfortunately, just not something I've ever had the opportunity to devote time to. So, hats off to all of them, though. They are very skilled at what they do, folks. You will see similar times done by esports drivers overseas, and well, this is probably the best Xbox racing you'll find just about anywhere on the continent. So thank you for joining us, and we hope we can bring you a good show tonight. Safety car is going to be out for 2 more laps. I think now would be a great time to talk about some of our upcoming events. Besides our regularly scheduled league racing, PPR is very excited to announce our PPR Cup. It's going to be the Race for the Cure. We are looking to raise money for the Huntington's Disease Foundation of the United Kingdom. One of my fellow administrators here at the league, James Warren, has a close friend who was recently diagnosed with the disease. For those of you at home not familiar, you can go ahead and Google the symptoms and what it entails. But any donation helps. It doesn't take a lot to help out a family with Huntington's. It is unique in that making their lives easier will not cost you much. Just a couple of dollars can go a long way, as the foundation does well to kind of spread the wealth and make sure that anyone going through it, any family going through it, is taken care of. That endurance race will be taking place on June 27th this year, June 27th. So little ways off, but it's always good to get the word out as much as you can. We'd love for you to join us. We'll be racing on the Assetto Corsa Competizione game, which is a little more simmy than this. So if GT3 is your thing, well, we got just the thing for you. We've got some professional racers joining us, as well as some big names in the sim racing community. So we're always excited to get involved with those around us. We'd love to have you out. Come check us out. We'll be streaming it on YouTube, a 12-hour endurance race. I can't wait to see you all there, folks. Back to the action here on track, though. It's Chandler leading Ginger, leading Ham Newton. No change in the top three. Captain Hood got to be grinning to himself because he is very much back in the fight here. Behind him, it's Sparky, Borat. Borat, of course, who's getting the elbows out with Boss Cookie. Expect to see a lot of very tense driving like that today, folks. This track does encourage you to be very aggressive, as overtaking, while not completely impossible, it is a very, very tight, very difficult tightrope to walk. So do keep an eye out for that. Looks like we've got somebody with the revving glitch. Can hear it. Ah, yes, Sparky. Better get that rev limiter checked, my friend. I'm just kidding. It's the Codemaster Special. Safety car still out. So, folks, I don't know if you've seen the news recently, but it has been confirmed that Sebastian Vettel will not continue at the Scuderia beyond this season. A lot of people saying the dream is over for a world title. It still remains to be seen, as there is a 2020 season planned. Maybe Ferrari's got some tricks up their sleeve. Unfortunately, all indications in testing did show it was going to be a Mercedes-Red Bull fight this year. But no worries, we will have to wait and see. The first race is slated to be in Austria in just a few weeks' time. So, a few weeks actually. I would say it's close to about a month and a half now. July 4th weekend is what they're saying. Ooh, Ed's going to be served a 10-second time penalty for exceeding the track limits. Very unfortunate for the Racing Point driver. He may just want to serve that on to the next pit stop that he can. That will set him back quite a bit. But it looks, folks, the rain has stopped. The track has dried up quite a bit. The safety car will stay out for one more lap. I do believe it will be time for slicks in a few laps' time. So we will see. The undercut will very much be in play, as these drivers are kicking up a lot of that moisture that's on the tarmac. And, folks, when it's dry or wet race here, no matter, you can always expect to see people throwing caution blue. And what a fantastic camera angle that is there on the rear wing of the Ferrari. Eight laps into this Singapore Grand Prix, 23 to go. A couple surprises so far. Hoopalicious falling down the order. Really didn't see that coming. He's been one of our faster drivers this season. It's like both the Haas cars really kind of running in no man's land right now at the moment. Very unfortunate for them. Nick, unfortunately, not really getting the pace in that he might have wanted at this stage. Renault's going to need all the help it can get if it wants to keep that top spot in the Constructors. Borat running in the points right now for the Williams team. Double OT, though, is out of the points. So Chandler can, if everything stays stationary, Chandler will keep that lead for them. Behind them, though, it looks like Red Bull's on the board for some good points today. Mercedes, double points at the moment. We'll have to wait and see how that pans out, but that would be a huge lift to the team. They've been looking to get back in the action, as it were. Big surprise, though, Racing Points still on that downward trend at the moment, P10 and P15 respectively. We'll hope to see them bounce back later in today's race. Safety car in this lap, folks. I wonder how much Chandler will back up the pack here, on board with Ham Newton for the restart. I would expect Chandler to pretty much wait until he is just beginning the run to the line. He will not want to give Ginger any slipstream, so maybe he'll even opt for the more obtuse strategy of not even accelerating until the line, which some drivers have done in the past, and the rule states they are allowed to do that. They're just not allowed to slow down. That is the rule of thumb now. Here he goes, backing them up. Let's see, is he on the power? Just a little bit, not much though. Funky Cactus is going to get served a time penalty there. Oh, Chandler's going to back him up again. I'm not sure that was entirely legal, folks. That one might go to the stewards. On the power now, down the pit straight. Chandler, unfortunately, has given both of his competitors a huge advantage there. Oh, my God, that's the Alfa almost up the inside. But Ham Newton's going to take P2 into the left-hander. Let's see, is that Alfa still on the left-hand side? Yes, it's wheel-to-wheel now into turn 3, excuse me. Ginger just staying in front of Ham Newton, though. Chandler very much maybe regretting that restart strategy. Oh, Alfa Nisis is going to retire from the race. Very unfortunate. Looks to me he got out of shape on the turn 1 entry. Ginger, on the other hand, is trying to catch up to the Renault here. Chandler going for a very fascinating restart strategy. I'm not sure that was the move there, but he has kind of invited his 2 competitors into the picture here. Long race to go, though, and safety cars are always a possibility at Singapore. Nothing really anywhere else down the field to speak of. Bit processional at the moment, folks. We'll keep you posted. Boss Cookie has retired from the session. Run the Jewels has been served a 3-second time penalty. Wonder what happened to Cookie. Looks like he's retired on track. That's not ideal, but we'll see. Still a damp track, folks. No one diving in for slicks quite yet. Might be a few more laps time before we see anyone go on to any medium or soft compounded tires. Through the S's. Into the tunnel section. Ginger still just locked onto the gearbox of that Renault like a heat-seeking missile. PPR Nick now up a couple positions. He's going to take Velo there, moving it to P15. Chandler not getting a good run through there. That will let Ginger kind of slide through. Chandler's going to reset the new fastest lap at a 1:55.9. Let's see there. Purple sector 3 for Ginger Horizon. This is a very fascinating battle brewing, and right behind him, it's Ham Newton. Looks like Sparky's gotten past Capita Hood as well. Rest down the field. Looks like Hoopalicious getting back in the fight here. Maybe these drier conditions suited more to his driving style. He's up now to P10, back in the points. Ginger still tucked in behind, folks. This is going to be the battle to watch as the race unfolds. Still very damp on this back portion of track, and it's very dry on the front portion. Ooh, a bit of an excursion with the wall there, but he's kept his end plate. Just so. Through the hairpin. Hard braking zone into the right-hander. Using all that extra to his advantage. Ham just staying right where he needs to be. Same with Ginger. It's a purple sector 2 for the Ferrari, but Sparky is looming behind, which I think would be a team best. I think would match the team best finish for Mercedes this season in P4. It's a Cactus now. Crawling up on Brackish. Let's keep an eye on this battle, folks. Brackish going really slow, almost parking it on the track. Borderline dangerous driving, in my opinion. I don't know what's going on here. He's pulling to the left there. Seems he's got to make it into the pits. But that's Funky Cactus up to P8. He'll be saying thank you very much. Now I can finally get some breathing room. But Hoopalicious having a look. Nothing really going there. Ginger still attached at the hip to Chandler Seda. 2/10 is the gap. Borat, Brackish, Double OT, Saxman, and Nick into the pits. Let's see, folks. Have they gone for the slicks? Yes. It looks to be the medium compounded tire going on for Borat. Mediums for the Williams, for the Toro Rosso. And we got some soft tires going on for Saxman. So here comes this first strategy mix-up of the day, folks. Let's go ahead and put those tire compounds out so you all can see what is happening. Looks a little too wet on track to me to go medium tire. I think softs might be the move at this stage because you still have to bank on a later safety car. Here's your top three getting a nice bird's eye view from that. Oh, I love that camera angle, folks. Really shows you the streets of Singapore. Gotta say, folks, Crazy Rich Asians is probably one of my favorite movies of the last couple years, and this is really bringing me back. I'm gonna have to give it a watch later tonight. Ooh, wheel to wheel now into the right-hander. Is this the move? I think the Alfa's got it done up the inside. Yes, he's gotten past the Renault of Chandler. Now Chandler's a sitting duck for Ham Newton, who's getting into the mix. Ooh, we got a Williams car. Looks like he's going slow. Ooh, Chandler now going very defensive. Ham Newton very much in his rearview mirrors. That scarlet red Ferrari is going to be taking the blood pressure up just a couple of points in that Renault cockpit. And there you have it, folks. No one's going in for the slicks. These gentlemen will be staying out for a few laps longer. And that looks to be the McLaren of, I think, Run the Jewels has crashed out on track. That should bring out a safety car, folks. I'm surprised we haven't seen one quite yet. Track is drying up at a rapid pace now, it would seem. Sparky's going to get served a time penalty there. All three in the slipstream now. Curious. It's the hometown hero, folks. Ginger Horizon in the lead. Let's see if he can bring this one home. Chandler, though, lurking with that purple Sector 1. He is not giving up on this race quite yet. Alfa is tuning in for the race there for just a moment, it would seem. Your top 8 runners have yet to pit. Oof, those intermediates are not going to be the move here, folks. Bragish going to get served a 3-second time penalty now. I would be very surprised if these three didn't pit at the end of this lap, so maybe they won't be thinking about the overtake quite yet, but maybe delaying it just a touch longer. Sparky trying to break that slipstream with cap at a hood. Jay Lee, though, hanging out back here. And DRS has been enabled, folks. It's going to be a pit stop frenzy. Let's see. Some of these guys do have penalties to serve, so it will be interesting to see if maybe that affects the outcome of this race, if there's maybe a jump in the pits that we can't see coming yet. We'll go on board now with... Let's see here. We'll keep on board with our top 3. Into the pits they go. Let's see, folks. It's Ginger leading Chandler, leading Ham in the pits. Let's hope no one's clutch gets out of shape. Medium tires going on. Soft tires for some. Chandler getting the mediums. Ginger going for the mediums. Ham back out now on the hards. Chandler on the mediums. Ginger on the mediums. No one going for the soft tires quite yet. Maybe thinking about the long game here, folks, as the mediums do give you the most balanced setup through the closing stages of this race. Pardon me, folks. I just need to mute someone real fast. He is making noise on the comms. There we go. Back under power now. Ooh, Saxon is going to get a time penalty there. But it looks like Ginger. Wow, look at that. He has gotten a nice little cushion there. Pit stops really shaking things up now. A lot of these gaps have been cut down. Jay Lee now hot on the tail, though, of Hoop. He will have the DRS. If he can get within 1 second of that Haas car, which I do believe he's just on the outside of the threshold right now. Ooh, a lot of lockups for the Mercedes driver, but he's keeping it steady through there. Sparky, though, he's closing up on Ham Newton now. Let's see, on board with the Mercedes driver. Having a look. Nothing really going there. This track is nice and dry now. Ooh, and Alfa Nisis has left the session there. Perhaps some connection issues. Nope, he's out of the race, actually, so guess he's just calling it a day. Had enough of watching. Sparky, though, very close to the Ferrari. I do believe he will have the DRS down the pit straight. Let's see, folks. There we have it. Rear wings open in that slipstream. This is a very short straight, though. He would have to be very close to that Ferrari to get the move done. Borat Bones' new fastest lap, 144.2. 144.2. So about 3 seconds off the lap record, folks. Looks like everyone was running higher downforce packages for that wet start. Oh, he's going to have a move up the inside of the Ferrari there. Ham Newton's going to have to concede that position. Sparky up to P3. Beautiful move there. And now Captain Hood going to be thinking about getting a move done on this Ferrari. Let's go to the broadcast cam, folks. Ham Newton's going to get served a time penalty there. That could play a factor later in this race. Interestingly, these drivers are not running maybe the ride heights they normally would have run. Usually you see a lot of sparks here at Marina Bay, but not so tonight. Ooh, big lockup for the Red Bull there. Kind of overcooked it into that turn. Lap 14 of the Singapore Grand Prix. We are almost at the halfway point, folks. Your leader, Ginger Horizon, out in front by 2 seconds. Leading Chandler, leading Sparky, leading Ham Newton, leading Capita Hood. Behind them, it's Borat, Hoopalicious, Jay Lee, Andre, and Brackish. In your non-points paying positions, it's Funky, Ed, Double OT, Nick Saxman, and bringing up the rear is the Ferrari of Velo. Ooh, we got a nice little trio forming here. Let's go on board with Capita Hood. He'll give us a nice kind of rear view look at what's going on in front of him. Still nothing really cooking right now at the moment, folks. This is kind of the hottest trio I got my eyes on. The rest of the field is just a touch spread out. There's a little kind of midfield battle forming, though. It looks like that's Funky, Brackish, and Ed forming a nice little threesome there. Ooh, looks like Sparky's going to be a sitting duck now. Ham Newton trying to close up. Not going to be close enough. Ham Newton does have the advantage, though, there. It seems he's got the move done, and Sparky was all out of shape through that sector, and now he finds himself going from P3 to P5 in one complex. Ham Newton's going to be a sitting duck, though, on the straight. Capita Hood in that DRS, trying to get the slipstream. Let's see, folks. Ham Newton pulling to the left. Cap's going to pull to the right. On the brakes. Can he get the cutback done? Ham Newton defending that inside line into the next turn. Let's see. Cap trying to get the cutback. Ooh, still not there. Ham with some beautiful defending there. Well done to the Ferrari driver. Back to P3. Capita Hood scratching his head. Left-hand curve nicely now. Into the bridge. Should have picked that braking point nice and carefully for the hairpin. Ooh, turning in beautifully. Nice and slow for everyone involved. One of the trickier parts of the track, this long, fast left-hander into a hard braking zone to a right turn. Probably not a place I would like to overtake, but it is always an option if you're very, very brave. Of course, this straight being where Sergio Perez decided to bump into Sergei Sorokin. Or was that Stoffel Van Dorn? I don't remember. Cap back at the slipstream. Let's see, folks. He's going to have the DRS, and he's got a much better run through there. I think he's going to get this move done. That might be Capita Hood up to P3 at the end of this straight. Yes, it is. Well done by the Red Bull driver to keep it in one piece through there. Ham, though, is going to be able to come back at him now. Taking a wide entry through there. I see a little bit of moisture falling on the camera, folks. Could we find ourselves in for another wet weather stop? It's entirely possible, folks. This is Singapore. You never know what they're going to throw at you. Now becomes the very, very touchy question. When is it wet enough to go in? Usually you find out the hard way in my case, where you slam yourself into a barrier. Oh, Captain Hood's going to get a time penalty there. He's now drawn. Water falling on the track halfway through this race. It seems pit strategy is going to be the name of the game today. Chandler still trailing Ginger Horizon by about 2.7 seconds. Still nothing really going here, folks. Field spread has taken a hold of the pack. Ham is falling back now from the Red Bull. Even with that DRS, he's not able to really stay following all that closely. Sparky's completely dropped off, folks. I think the moisture on track is going to begin to play a factor now. Drivers will be looking for the dry line as this drizzle continues to drop. Borat now back in the picture here, it would seem. Let's see some aggressive driving out of him. Wonder if he'll be bullying the Mercedes driver as we come into the hairpin. Big lockup. Ooh, Sparky's struggling on the traction there on the exit. Another lockup. Borat really leaning on that brake pedal. I wonder, is anyone into the pits yet? Nope, doesn't appear that way. The Alfa and the Renault will stay out for just one more lap. Ooh, wow, Sparky is very much in the clutches of this Williams. Now let's see. Pit straight's coming up. Better hope the DRS isn't switched off quite yet. Sparky's into the pits, though. Going for the early stop. Let's see, folks. Has he gone for the inters? Has he made the correct call? Yes, intermediate tires it is, and a wing change. Let's see if they can get him out now. It's going to look like probably P10, P11, I think, by the time he gets to the end of the pit straight. Of course, we all remember last year the infamous undercut by Ferrari, handing the race back to Sebastian, sending Charles's radio into a mess of broken English and anger. Ooh, Andre Marie getting into it with Funky Cactus now. Andre Marie on that faster compounded tire, but he is going to have to close that gap if he's going to want to make the move. And it looks like DRS has been disabled now, folks. I don't see any rear wings opening at this moment. Capita Hood now 11 seconds shy of Chandler, so it looks like Ginger and Chandler in a league of their own at the moment. Oh, and Chandler's going to get a 5-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. That will probably undo his race, but that does put Capita Hood within 6 seconds. Oh, but Cap's got that 3-second time penalty, so it's more like a 9-second gap. We'll have to see, folks. Lots of driving left to be had today. Double OT, hot on the rear of Sparky. Sparky on those inters. I want to see who's got the pace at the moment. Seems to me that Sparky can just let Double OT by, because Double OT is going to have to pit anyway. Chandler Seda with another time penalty. Oof. Has certainly given Ginger Horizon much less to think about now. That's an 11-second gap he's built up just for free. Double OT really struggling to get the power down. Ooh, big slide there. Ooh, lot of oversteer. Yeah, I would for sure dive into the pits. Sparky's going to go in, though. Looks like the undercut hasn't paid off, folks. But Hoop, Borat, Ham Newton, they're all on the intermediate tire. Our leaders sticking on the medium compound. Jay Lee up to P4 now. It seems him and his teammate have completely swapped fates today. Such as Singapore, though. Can see a lot of position change as the day goes on. A lot of drivers moving up, moving down, moving up, moving down. Finishing order often isn't what you see even 2/3 of the way through, which is where we're at right now. Lap 20 at 31 to go, folks. We got yellow flags in Sector 2. Nothing that I can see at the moment. Nasty field spread. I wonder. Pit stop here? Yep. No surprise. I wonder, though, does Chandler stay out? No, Chandler into the pits. Capita Hood probably going to be thinking the same thing. Let's see, though. What kind of glitch is this? I don't even know what to make of this one, folks. All right. Hell of a stop from the Alfa Romeo team. I'm sorry, folks. I don't mean to be sarcastic, but this game is glitchy as heck right now, and I really can't make heads or tails why. Maybe it's my Xbox. Baby girl is running a little warm. Well, there you have it. Velo is now being blue flagged. There's your first lapped car of the day, folks. Ginger, though, commanding lead of 5 plus 11. That's a 16-second lead. He's just got to get the car home in one piece. 10 laps to go in the Grand Prix. Surprised there hasn't been a safety car yet. Ed double OT into the pits. Ham Newton trying to close up to the Red Bull. Very similar compounded tires. Ooh, we got yellow flags in Sector 2. That looks to be the Haas of somebody. Going very slow. Or not. I can't tell. Through the bridge section. Into the hairpin. These very intermediate conditions, as they were, will be affecting just how hard these guys can push and where they can push. Wet conditions are very key to be very smooth on the controls as to not disturb your car too much. Velo getting in the way of his own teammate there. Could be screaming over the radio if I was Ham Newton. Ham only 1 second behind. Velo almost a whole minute behind Nick. Very unfortunate. Looks to be a car dead on track. Is that Chandler say that? Was he backing off? I guess he decided to let Ginger have his moment. Bo, that's a safety car, folks. Safety car is out. Safety car, safety car, safety car, folks. Lap 22. Hoopalicious. The woes continue for Hoopalicious. Going to get a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Guess Chandler decided he wanted to have himself some fun. Borat was served something there. I didn't quite catch it, folks. While we're under safety car, why don't I have a look at the race director so you can see for yourself. The penalties. Let's see. Starting at the top. Got Run the Jewels, Got 10 second for Ed. 3 seconds for Funky. 10 for Jay Lee. 5 seconds for Boss Cookie. He's out, though. Run the Jewels, another 3. He's out. Sparky with a 3. Brackish with a 3. Saxman with a 3. Or 5, rather. Hoopalicious with a 3. Ham Newton with a 3. 3, 3, 3. Yep. Sounds about right. Funky Cactus, another 3. Ed over another 3. Borat with 3 right there. Let's see. Capita Hood with 3. Everybody gets penalty. Chandler Seda, 5 seconds. Hoopalicious and Borat. Well, folks, there you have it. That's Singapore for you. Yeah, Borat's going to get a drive-through penalty. Very unfortunate for him. Ooh, Brackish going to get one as I come back to the game. Chandler probably kicking himself for backing off because he'd be sitting right behind the leader, and instead he's going to fight his way through Capita Hood and think about the Ferrari. Perhaps his hubris, unfortunately, coming back to bite him. Closing stages of this race. Wonder if anyone will be pitting for full wets. This looks like Hoop's gone for full wets. Ed, Double OT, Saxman, and Nick going for the full wets. Maybe hoping to gain some kind of edge. Chandler into the pits. Capita's going to stay out. Ham Newton's going to follow him in, though. Let's see. Into the Ferrari box we go. That's inters off. And fresh inters on. No wet tires, it would seem. And a wing change. And out he goes. Chandler going full wets there. So, sorry, Borat going full wets. Chandler and Ham sticking with that green striped tire. The pit strategy chess match continues here, folks. Curious to see how the weather picks up. It doesn't seem like it's quite wet enough for wet tires, so I'm very curious why they would think that was the case. They must know something on the pit wall I don't. Or vice versa. Maybe I know more than they do. Then again, I've got a helicopter at my disposal, so that's nice. Chandler now dropping all the way back to P6 on pit strategy. This has opened the floor, though, for a lot of other teams to get in on the mix without that Renault kind of sailing off into the distance as it usually does. Ham Newton has disconnected. I assume he'll be back. Field spread's nasty here, folks. The safety car queue is about a mile in front of everyone. I don't quite know. They're all going to catch it up without going over the delta. But that's Singapore. Another great thing about Singapore is the food. Their food stalls there, they have this excellent street food area. And some of the places there have even gained so much critical acclaim, they've been awarded Michelin stars. Don't know if any of you knew that, but there are, in fact, food stalls with Michelin stars in Singapore, serving a wide variety of cuisines, Malaysian food, Singaporean cuisine, Vietnamese, Chinese, Japanese, you name it. It really is a wonderful crossroads of cultures. Singapore, of course, was once a British colony. Was that way until, I believe, the post-war years. In the 50s, they handed it back to the local government there. And a gentleman by the name of, Dr. Something, he was kind of the one who wanted to experiment with the different social stratas and create kind of this utopian dystopia. You know, as the saying goes, one man's dystopia is another man's utopia, vice versa. So he instituted policies like, for example, narcotics are very illegal in Singapore. It's punishable by death, in fact. But you can solicit adult workers, if you catch my drift. So it's a very unique state in that sense, where the law is kind of a little bit western, a little bit eastern. It's kind of a mix of both. Everything is heavily surveilled, as a matter of fact. When you enter the country, they scan your fingers, they scan your hand, your face, and they can pretty much track you on CCTV from the minute you leave, from the minute you arrive to the minute you leave. You're on their surveillance. So if you're maybe someone who enjoys personal liberties or privacy, it's probably not the place for you to visit. But on the flip side, it's a very clean place. No one spits; it's against the law. You can't spit out your gum on the sidewalk. But of course, all that Neatness does come at a cost. I've spoken to some Singaporean folks. They kind of lean in the middle. They're not really too opinionated about it. Some really like it. Some really hate it. Personally, for me, I'm not a resident, so I'm not really subject to a lot of those things. But it is a very fascinating place. The Ferris wheel is a very big attraction on the skyline, but the place you definitely got to check out is that high-rise hotel with the 3 buildings in the middle. I think we might be able to get an angle of it here if I can just get us out of this track for just a moment. There's 3 buildings, and it's got that rooftop pool on it. I forgot what the name of it is, but it's right near the cruise ship terminal and the botanical gardens, and it is one of the coolest places I've ever been in my life. These botanical gardens also have these like nice, beautiful fauna, and they even have an indoor garden with a waterfall, and it's home to like these rare species of flowers and birds and bugs and insects and lizards. Really a cornucopia of nature. It's such a fascinating city in that sense. And I know they love the Grand Prix. I know F1 gets a lot of flack around the world. Maybe going into places where F1 maybe isn't wanted, but Singapore is one of the cities where they are a big fan of it. Safety car staying on one more lap here. Continue my chit chat about Singapore. Folks, let me know in the chat. What are some places you enjoy visiting? Maybe some places you've been on the F1 calendar. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the chat. Go ahead and take a look at your comments right now. I myself had the opportunity to go to Monza for the Grand Prix, which was a very, very memorable time, considering it was Ferrari's first win in a long time. No one really beats the Tifosi for a party. I hate to say it. I've been to tailgates, I've been to baseball games, I've celebrated World Series wins. Nothing beats a Ferrari victory at Monza. Truly a one-of-a-kind experience. Off to the chat now. Let's see who's here. Got Mikey Veal. Let's go Velo. Indeed. We got Stefan Glimbaki. Got 13 people tuning in. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Safety car should be in this lap. Your order at the moment, and it looks like, yep, torrential downpour. Just as I suspected. Not. Jay Lee, though, sitting in a very, very tasty P3. I would be overjoyed for him if he could get this car to the finish line. Ooh, and Nick's retired from the session under safety car. Folks, very unfortunate for the Renault driver. Velo's got to be happy, though. That will bump him up just one position once they come around the track one more time. Jay Lee doing his best, trying to get those tires nice and warm. Cap maybe tasting some champagne, maybe the top step of the podium. We'll see. Velo, though, the lapped car here, will be in front of Jay Lee on the restart, so I'm curious if they're going to want to let him through. Ginger now backing everyone up here. Borat Bones getting a severe collision penalty there. And Andre Myrie is going to get in front of Chandler, I think. Let's see, is Borat taking some severe damage on his car? Don't believe he has. Nope, he's got both end plates. Here we go, folks. It's going to be a sprint to the finish here. 6 laps at the Singapore Grand Prix. Ginger still sufficiently backing up that Red Bull, keeping it at a crawl, folks. That's about, let's say, I-5 and rush hour speeds. In the wet here, Singapore. Here's the restart. Let's see. Where's Ginger going to punch it? Right now, he's got it. That's the restart, folks. Captain Hood right on his tail. Jay Lee stuck behind Velo. Ham Newton's rejoined the session. Good for him. We're back underway. That's green flags, folks. That Ferrari sticking to the middle of the track, doing a very poor job of getting out of the way. Maybe perhaps a little friendly nudge for his teammate, helping Ham Newton to get back. But Andre Myrie back from the dead. P4, folks, for the Racing Point. Great to see that. But it's Jay Lee, the big surprise so far of this race, sitting in P3. Well done. Let's see, folks. 5 laps to go. I don't want to tempt fate, but Ginger is going to have to fight off a onslaught from the Red Bull driver of Capita Hood. Chandler Seda already up in position now. He's going to be looking to get past that Mercedes. He might make quick work of him. Keeping it in 4th there. Definitely the gear you get the most traction in these F1 2019 cars is 4th. kind of step on the gas without really worrying about the back end getting unseated. The revs just really suit these cars for some reason. Let's see, folks. Ham Newton falling down the order, though. Trying to cover off that Mercedes there of Sparky. Up the inside of Hoopalicious. Hoopalicious still struggling on those full wets. Inter is probably being the tire that you want to be on right now. Borat carrying that very unfortunate penalty at the moment as well. You can hear heavy short shifting there from the Racing Point driver Chandler, now closing that gap to Jay Lee, only 1 second behind. He's got that Mercedes in his sights. Jay Lee hoping to catch back up to Capitol Hood here and put cap between him and the Renault. 5 laps to go in the Singapore Grand Prix. That's Double OT falling down the order. Very, very, very sketchy conditions, folks. Yeah, that's Chandler. He's within a couple of tenths. No DRS, though, as these are wet conditions. So he will have to get the move done on slipstream. Oh, but Jay Lee's going to go into the pits. Jay Lee's going to go into the pits. That would probably be a wet compounded tire for him, if I had to guess. But Chandler falling back, now catching back up. He's back into the podium at the moment. I wonder if he's got it in him to close this one up. Ooh, yellow flags in Sector 3. Jay Lee into the pits, Borat into the pits. Only a few laps to go from home. Very curious they wouldn't opt to just stay out and hope for the best. More yellow flags in Sector 1. Oh, they've been cleared, whatever it was. Oh, I do hope the bad men don't crash out. You can hear those rear tires struggling for some love right now. But it's pretty lonely running at the front for Ginger Horizon. Chandler, they're trying to catch back up. Let's see, folks. Looks like Funky Cactus. Hot on the tail of Hoopalicious. Both drivers rocking those wet compound tires. Look more like blue waffles. Get it because they're blue striped? I got all the jokes, folks. Don't worry. Hoop trying to find the traction here through the bridge. You're going to take this hairpin a lot slower than you normally would. Turning in. Ooh, taking a very shallow line through there. Not wanting Cactus to get a good run. Funky's going to be thinking about that one now. Back in the slipstream. Certainly the closest battle on track besides Saxman, who's trying to catch up to Ed, but if I'm judging by that interval, I do believe the wet compounded tire is the tire you want. Oh, I see. So Jay Lee didn't change tires. I think he was serving penalty because he hasn't fitted new tires. Very unfortunate for the Mercedes driver. I was so hopeful he was going to pull this one through for the team, but so be it. Hoop just trying to keep that Alfa Romeo behind. Funky taking a nice right-hand line over that yellow Singapore Airlines branded curb. Oh, multi-track drifting through there. Very fancy stuff. Ham Newton getting past Andre. Saxman getting past. And Jay Lee getting past Brackish. Sparky back in front of Andre Myrie. Ooh, Borat's retired from the session. Excuse me, folks. In pits retirement, though. That'll do it for him today, folks. We're going to have 15 finishers, it would seem, out of 20. Not bad, not bad at all. Jay Lee kind of in the closest battle. That should be him just getting past the Williams there. Yeah, and he's gone. Double OT really adrift the field today, unfortunately. Ooh, and that's Ed. Ed is out of this race. That should bring out a late safety car. Wow. I don't know what happened there, but very unfortunate for him. He was doing so well today as well, I believe. Oof, that Williams trying to drift its way around the corner, but I do believe we should see a safety car here, folks, to clear that wreckage. Or not. Or not. We press on, folks. Funky. Let's get funky, funky. Clap, clap, clap. Clap your hands. Here we go, folks. 2 laps to go. This is all to play for now. P7. That's the name of the game. Saxman, though. Always, always in the fight. Captain consistent. I see he's got a better run through there than Cactus. Really hard to say which compounded tire is the fastest one. Trying to get in that slipstream. He's pulling down the inside. He's flying around. Funky Cactus. Cactus slow as a barge there. And I would suspect Hoopalicious will be much of the same story. Those wet tires are detrimentally slow. There he goes, folks. Saxman up to P7. Never a doubt. But, wet weather gang. It's going to be up to them to get into it with each other here. Give us some closing lap entertainment, as it were. Ginger Horizon still out in front by a wide margin. Don't expect to see that change anytime soon, folks. It's shocking that the track seems very wet to me. I'm surprised. Oh, and that's an end plate missing. Hoopalicious getting all out of shape. Oh, did he brake check there maybe? Oh, and he's under the runoff. Oh, and he's out of the race. Oh, my goodness. Hoop. He forgot to hit the brakes. Wow. Well, folks, that's into the barrier if I've ever seen it. Shout out Scott. Sergeant Kamarov, if you're familiar with him. That's an end plate dancing around the track there. Jay Lee trying to catch up too funky here. He's back into the points. Very unfortunate for Hoopalicious there. Funky looking slow as molasses at the moment. Chandler Seda is back in the fight, folks. We'll have to go check in on him. Looks like Andre Marie is going to get the move done on Sparky. Or Sparky is going to take a very bad line through there. He'll just let the racing point go right on through, not wanting to risk any life or limb. But, folks, back to our lead cars. It's a battle for second. It's Capita Hood and Chandler Seda. One admin to another. Both lightning fast drivers. Let's see who's got the cojones here to get it done in the wet. Is Cap going to have the defensive strategy in place? Or does Chandler have the pace? Stay tuned. 2 laps to go, folks. Lap 30 of 31. Been an excellent race so far. Great mix-up of strategy there in the middle. Giving us very, very unique top 10 at the moment. Ooh, Sparky's retired from the session. I think he's gone off. Yes, he has, folks. We couldn't quite get eyes on him. Ooh, Cactus going to get a time penalty there. Yep, that looks to me like a Mercedes is in the wall. Cactus is going to get another time penalty. Man, Singapore really is just penalty central. That's tough. It's a shame because you really do get so much time taking those curves, and the game doesn't penalize you normally, but such as F1 2019, very arbitrary penalty system sometimes. Final lap, folks. Chandler's knocking on the door of the Red Bull here. 23 turns left. Let's see who's got it. We're going to stay on board with Chandler here, folks. Into turn 1, Capita Hood staying just in front. Chandler trying to close up now. Turn 2. Taking all that inside curb now back to the left hand. There's that famous wall that Ocon ended up in back in 2018. Into the turn for the straight. Big lockup for the Renault there. Capita Hood still maintaining about a 6/10 gap. No DRS as these are wet conditions. We'll have to see. Plenty of racing left. Penalties abound too for both drivers, so no idea yet. As this race comes to its closing stages, Capita Hood staying just in front now. Good short shift there by Chandler, staying in the mix. Let's see. He's got a full battery to deploy on this lap. Capita Hood, not so much. He's been spending it to stay in front. So all he's really got to do now is just park his car in the middle of the track. The only good overtaking opportunity really is coming up here after the hairpin. So let's see Cap. He's going to take a wide line through there. No surprise. He's going to try and cut Chandler's time on the exit of that corner. Chandler pulling to the left. Capita Hood now pulling to the left. Racing line's going to be the left-hand side here, turning in. Making his car as wide as he can. More or less the same now. Into the right-hander. Let's see. Shallow line again. No surprise. Left-hander. No surprise. It would take a miracle at this point if the Renault's going to get past. No dive bomb into the tunnel. Didn't think so. Not close enough. So difficult to get traction down in the wet as well and try and get that good exit speed. Over the right-hand curb. Let's see, folks. Only 3 corners left. Shell's going to just cut that one. See ya. But Ginger Horizon, the hometown hero, takes it for Alfa Romeo. Well done to him. Congratulations. Capita Hood across the line. Chandler State across the line. That's going to be 2 and 3, respectively. Well done to all of our D1 drivers who made it to the finish line. Ham Newton coming home a very, very respectable P4. Andre Myrie coming around the last couple corners here. Same with Saxman. Jay Lee recovering to P7. Well done to the Mercedes driver. Cactus having a tough go at it with penalties. Let's see what happens, folks. There's still penalties to be served. Double OT trying to get to the end here. Brackish and Velo doing more or less the same thing. Pretty fascinating race, to say the least. Definitely something I enjoy watching and commentating on, folks. Thanks again for joining us. I'm your host, Best Teon. This has been PPR Esports. We've just got a couple more cars getting across the line. We'll do the podium celebrations. We're running through the finishing order one more time. Oh, and Brackish has got the move done on the last lap. Double OT caught with his pants down. And that will do it, folks. Sorry, folks, there will be no post-race interviews today, unfortunately. But thank you for joining us. Congratulations to the hometown hero, Ginger, bringing it home in the Alfa Romeo. I'm sure he's very pleased with that one. Catch him out on the Raffles Boulevard tonight having a virtual bevy because, of course, social distancing is still in place. Of course, this has been Pole Position Racing Esports. I'm your host, Best Teon. Thank you for joining, folks. Here is your finishing order one more time. Ginger leading Capita, leading Chandler, leading Ham Newton, Andre Sachs, Jay Lee, Double OT, Brackish, and Funky Cactus. Your non-points paying position being Velo. Your non-finishers, Sparky, Hoop, Ed, Borat, Nick, Run the Jewels, Boss, Cookie, Alpha, Nieces. And bringing up the rear, it's Honey Mustard. Folks, thank you for joining us again. I'm your host, Best Teon. And do try to stay classy out there. Go Alt-Tab.